Welcome to Too Long Didn't Read, where Andrea and I'm Stephen, we read the news from newspapers in case you didn't have a chance to read the news.
Yeah, that's it.
So, we each pick out 3 stories every week and we talk about them. And we kind of cross-pollinate and see what's interesting. And we try and pick out stories that are important to people in our area. First story, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
I would love to go first.
Let's hear it.
And I am going to preface this with I've always worked in nonprofits, so there is a bias that's coming from my point of view. But in the Sarasota Herald Tribune, article Curtains for Arts Programs. The Cultural Museum Grants, part of the Department of Cultural Affairs. Sorry, A10, I have to change pages.
Turn to A10.
Another thing with newspapers.
The aesthetic. Just listening to the newsprint. Crinkle.
Smelling it.
Smelling it. Yeah. Just the stain on the fingertips.
So the cuts are a major blow to 11 arts and culture organizations in Sarasota and Manatee counties. The Symphony, the Cuban Ballet School, Chalk Festival, very beloved
Chalk
thing.
Fest. Now I'm outraged.
We're also talking about Oslo, FST, orchestra, opera, ballet, Van Wezel, really big things, Selby Gardens. And then it also gets into Manatee with South Florida Museum is part of this. We totally forget about that. South Florida Museum, Manatee Players, this affects everyone. And
so where's the money going?
The money is going mostly to school safety.
Boom.
So, I completely understand that they were under a lot of pressure.
Right.
But working in nonprofits, one of the things is you were always... Like, we had to have, if you were asking for money, your legislative budget request, your LBR, it had to be with proof of this is what we're doing, this is why we're doing it, here's proof of how it works. Personally, when I look at what they have decided to take this money to use for, I am not a school safety expert, do not claim to be. I have never seen anything that says putting armed guards in schools helps. Only thing I know is what we saw at Parkland was there was an armed guard and it did not help. So for me, I'm looking at it's taking all of this money away from the arts, which has been proven to be very valuable for communities, for the economy, and even for people who are going through trauma and grieving. This is a proven thing that we have, and we're taking money from something that's proven and we're putting it into something, and if somebody has the proof, I would love to see it. I would love to see examples of where this has worked, where the armed guards have been effective, because all I can see from my point of view is this major incident that prompted everything, and it looks like we're throwing money into something that has no research or proof behind it.
This is the 9/11 of school shootings. It has created the basically homeland security culture. If we could cease all school shootings by putting security personnel in schools, I would say absolutely.
Agreed.
And now we're doing something very interesting, right? We're taking from the state budgets outside of education. So we're used to seeing arts being eroded within the educational sphere, but this is entirely new. They're pulling from the arts outside of the education budget.
Yes. I look at these and I think, where is the research? Where is the group that has gone out and started looking at what works and what doesn't work? I would like to see research and proof, because
that would probably require funding. I'm afraid that we don't have enough of that this year, Andrea. So we're just going to have to take and run what we've got.
So we'll see how the effect it has on some of. I mean, we will all probably see that in our beloved arts organizations.
They're getting 10% of the funding, right?
Yeah, less than. He flat out says it's a kick in the teeth. Yeah. So what else is, like, there are these long-term things that are going to happen, and I wonder if the arts are just going to start, maybe they're going to become more local. I don't know.
That's interesting. I think you're right. If by local you mean that people are just going to have to support their own artistic activities.
Exactly, yeah.
So we are in the Village of the Arts, which is interesting. Basically, you're saying that the next time there's an art walk, you want to come by and do like an art table for the community?
An art table?
Yeah, just do like finger painting or, one of those, I can't say the name of the types of places you go to and you drink wine and you paint a painting based on somebody else painting a painting. And you do it with your friends and you're like, this is so
really
much
terrible.
fun.
I actually did that for Galentine's Day this year. It's awful.
Galentine's Day.
I hug